All right, welcome Doctor Who fans to this Doctor Who video live stream. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how dark it was in my apartment. Maybe we should turn this around a little bit so you can see my face somehow. Nope. I guess that's fine. All right, so I'm having to do this in my living room due to the fact that my wife is asleep right now. So yeah, but hope everyone's doing great today. As you can see right behind me, I've got my entire Doctor Who collection. We're going from William Hartnell all the way up to Peter Capaldi, because that is all that I have as of right now. So if you like Doctor Who, hit that like button, and if you don't like Doctor Who, then hit that like button, because we are about to take a journey through time and space. Well, through time at least, 1963 to 2018. Please bear with me. I don't really do live streams like this on YouTube much. If I do any live streams, it's usually my video gaming. So check that out. We're going to start off with one of my very first pieces of Doctor Who memorabilia that I first collected. It's known as The Beginning. And the reason it is known as The Beginning is it is the first 3 stories of Doctor Who. Stories 1, 2, and 3. An Unearthly Child, The Daleks, and The Edge of Destruction. Is William Hartnell years, 63 to 66. But of course, these are just the 63. Here, Doctor Who, The Beginning. The first 3 stories. I don't quite remember how many episodes. Oh, it's 4 episodes for Unearthly Child, 7 episodes for the Daleks, and 2 episodes for The Edge of Destruction. Wow, Edge of Destruction was really short. I have yet to watch Edge of Destruction, but the Daleks is my favorite story. This little DVD, and it is a 3-disc collection. For first disc and second and third. So pick that up if you haven't got that yet. Moving on now to our next William Hartnell story that I own, which is number 5. Number 4, Marco Polo, is it's not around. So there are some things of Marco Polo that have been found. I believe some of the audio has been found, so that's good. But we have here Doctor Who, The Keys of Marinus, or Marinus, however you want to pronounce that. This is the 5th story, and is just 1 disc. But this is William Hartnell's 5th story, and not quite sure how many episodes, but I have yet to watch this one. I have a lot of Doctor Who, but I work a 10-hour shift every day of the week, so I don't really have much time. I have the weekends, but weekends are my time to spend with my wife, and she's not really big into Doctor Who like I am. But moving on to our next story, this is the 8th story of William Hartnell's Doctor Who, The Reign of Terror. Another one I have yet to watch. This special DVD release contains the original Episode 1, Episode 2, Episode 3, and Episode 6, with new animated versions of Episodes 4 and 5, currently missing from the BBC archives. So 2 episodes of this are animated, which is interesting to see. So I can't wait to watch this one, because yes, I haven't watched it yet. I can't give too much information about a bunch of these because I haven't got to watch all of them. Look how many I've got, and I'm still collecting them. I found the guy online who's selling about 14 DVDs that I need for this collection, and it would clear off my Tom Baker. Just wait. Our next story is another William Hartnell, his 9th story, Planet of Giants. I did start this one, never finished it. I'm terrible with watching stuff. I tell you what. But this is at least 4 episodes. So, Planet of the Giants. The next one we go with one of my favorites, and yes, I did finish this one. One of my favorites, Doctor Who, The Dalek Invasion of Earth. Little spoiler for those of you who do not know, this is the last story that his granddaughter Susan appears in. Forever. I wish they'd bring her back. Only time will tell. Was that a good joke? I don't know. But yeah, that is a great story. My next story of Doctor Who is actually not a DVD. It is a VHS tape, because this is a hard one to find. I mean, you can find it on Amazon, but it was hard to come by. And I found this at an old bookstore that sells movies and DVDs, come to find out. But for $3, I bought The Web Planet. Now, once I find this on DVD, maybe I'll sell this, but maybe I'll keep it. This is a classic VHS tape cover. The Web Planet. So the tape is in great condition still, released by BBC Video. So yeah, that is awesome. I have tested the tape. It's in great working condition. Now this one I'm very, 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 very happy with. And I can't stress how happy I am with it. This is stories 15 and 16, but I'm mostly interested in story number 16. That is the Space Museum, but I'm excited for The Chase. I haven't watched it yet because I just got this in the mail last week on a work day. I have the 28th of May off from work. I definitely am going to be watching a bunch of Doctor Who. I'm also going to be doing a bunch of reading of my comic books, which I will be doing some videos later on of comic books. I have Doctor Who comic books. Go figure. But I'm looking forward to The Chase because Daleks have now got the power to travel through time, and they're chasing after the Doctor and his companions. This is a 4 episodes for the Space Museum and 6 episodes for The Chase. So if you haven't checked out The Chase, do yourself a favor and check it out. I know I will. My next story is another William Hartnell, The Ark. I don't know much about this, so let's move on. I'm joking. I can say this is his 23rd story, as it's indicated right there. Every DVD you find has the story number there, which is great. I love that the BBC did that when they released these DVDs. And his final outing as the Doctor on his own, because he will return. The 10th Planet. This is the story that ends with the first Doctor evolving. See, what? Regenerating, sorry, into the second Doctor. Which now we move on. 29. William Hartnell did 29 stories in Doctor Who. Now, the next Doctor. The second Doctor's first story, I believe, is The Power of the Daleks, which I have right here. But it's not released in live action because I don't believe they have anything live action remaining. What they do have, however, is audio from the original show. Excuse me. So, a year or two ago, because time has been flying by really fast, they came out with The Power of the Daleks, newly animated in black and white and color. I haven't watched it yet. I'm kind of skeptical on watching animated movies of the Doctor or episodes of Doctor Who, but why would I buy it, So I will be definitely checking this out really soon. I love the Daleks, the Cybermen of the old classics, even the Ice Warriors, which we will get to in just a jiffy. A jiffy. I sound like my dad. The next second Doctor story, which I don't know what number this is because it does not tell me, due to the fact that it's another animated story, Doctor Who, The Faceless Ones. I've heard on a YouTube on my Facebook page I'm a part of for the Patrick Troughton page that this is a good story, but not as good as the Furies of the Deep, which we will get to really soon. But before that, we will move on to story number 37, which is not the first time, I don't believe, but the time where the Doctor meets the Cybermen in the tomb of the Cybermen. This is a 2-disc special edition. Great story. I love the Cybermen, but not as much as the Daleks. Oh man, could you imagine how I was when I saw the Cybermen and the Daleks pop in near the end of Rose Tyler's run with David Tennant? Man, forgot the name of the story, but we'll get there later. The Ice Warriors. Here they are. I like them as well. But this is story number 39, 2 stories away from the Cybermen. He's been very busy, the Doctor, and Patrick Troughton is just getting started. Moving on to my next Patrick Troughton, story number 40. This was a re-release, I believe, or this is a regular release later on in the years. It came out, I want to say, it says 2004, but I didn't buy it till after I met my wife. Oh, 2013. But I found this in 2015 or 16. Anyway, The Enemy of the World. Oh yeah. All right, now we're moving on to more of the Second Doctor with another DVD that I bought the same time as the Enemy of the World, The Web of Fear. I have not got to finish this yet, but I definitely will be watching it soon. I'm just in a mood for Second Doctor. But who isn't? I mean, come on. Here we go with Fury of the Deep. This is a newly animated DVD that just came out, I believe, last year, maybe this year. But all 6 episodes in color animation and black and white animation. All the audio commentaries from all episodes. And it also talks about the episode reconstructions. But another one to check out. Then we've got another Patrick Troughton, The Mind Robber. I've watched this entire story back when Doctor Who, a classic Doctor Who, was on Netflix. Then they removed it. But this was a great story. I loved this story. And this is just, one of the most craziest stories I can even think of at the moment. But let's get into some more, because there are more crazy DVDs and crazy stories of Doctor Who. We're going to get now into my first copy of The Invasion, which was the VHS tape I bought the same day as the first Doctor's VHS tape, The Web Planet. This story sees the Cybermen invading Earth, as you can see there as well. So, originally aired back in 1968? No. Yes. It says, following his first appearance in 1968 in The Web of Fear, Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart became a firm favorite with Doctor Who's many viewers. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Originally aired, broadcast November 2nd through December 21st, 1968. But I have it on tape, and I also found it on DVD and recently received this copy in the mail last week from online. It was awesome to get. And seeing Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart right there, what a great character he is. And through 3, maybe 4 Doctors, I don't remember if he was in much of the 5th Doctors. I do know he appears in the 5 Doctors, which we'll get to later. And Doctor Who, The Crotons. Story number 47. Getting near the end of Patrick Troughton's run as the Doctor. I believe now we are reaching into the 3rd Doctor. No, we're not. We're still in some of the 2nd Doctor stuff. With The Seeds of Death, which was another story that I received not too long ago. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. But The Seeds of Death is another story I have not watched yet, but it looks like we have the Ice Warriors making an appearance again. You can barely see them right there, hiding and lurking in the shadows. Now, my top 5 doctors have to be Tom Baker, John Pertwee, Patrick Troughton, Matt Smith, and Peter Capaldi. I love the other doctors, don't get me wrong, but those are my top 5. And we're getting right now into my number 2, John Pertwee. Spearhead from space. His first run as the Doctor. Story number 51. I do know we've had over 200 stories now, but I don't remember the exact number. With his second run as the Doctor in story number 52, we have Doctor Who and the Silurians. Great story. I love the Silurians. They do make appearances later on in the New Who stuff, but I don't like the look of them. I prefer the original look. Thank you very much. All right. Now we're moving on to the Claws of Axis. This is story 57. As far as I know, this is the first time we see the Master. But I don't own anything in between his story 52 and 57. So there's 5 stories right there I'm missing. I don't know if the Master's in them. If I remember correctly, this is his first time. But it's a great story. I love the Master. I believe that's the Master who the actor passed away during during a point in Doctor Who where he what was I trying to say? Where they had to recast the Master or something along those lines. That might have been him. It may not have been. I don't really recall. But here is the next one with with the same Master. There's no other. Story 59. This is a weird name. It's because of how it's written, but the Daemons, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, the Daemons or demons or diamonds or something. They're not diamonds. You could take a pickaxe at them if they were diamonds. I'm sorry for my jokes. I know they're probably really corny, but that's okay. Here we have the Day of the Daleks. Back in the day when I was originally getting Doctor Who DVDs, I would always go for the Dalek stories. Then I went after Cybermen stories. There are some I'm missing still, but this is a good one. Day of the Daleks. And I want to say it was this one. This is story 60, so it takes place right after the Daemons. But I believe this is the story where John Pertwee dresses up as a cleaning lady in a dress and everything to infiltrate a building. But I don't remember if it was this one or if it's something else, and I'll have to find out sometime and let you know. Moving on next to the Curse of Peladon, or Peladon. This is story number 61. I've kind of gotten a bunch of them that are together, and this is 61. Moving on to the next story, Doctor Who, The Sea Devils. This was in a collection of underwater adventures with Doctor Who. I picked it up on Amazon a while back, and it was 3 DVDs in it. It was the Silurians, the Sea Devils, and something with the 5th Doctor. Which I don't remember what it was, but we'll get to it later, and I'll recognize it. The Sea Devils, story number 62. Moving on to story number 63 with The Mutants. I have not got to watch this one yet, but it looks pretty interesting. Here's some pictures in the back. I'm just now recalling. I hope you can hear me well, and I hope you can hear the music. I've got Doctor Who going on Spotify. I needed some ambiance. I wanted to get that feel of Doctor Who. Now, I said earlier William Hartnell would return, but not only William Hartnell returns in this story, but so does Patrick Troughton in The Three Doctors. This, sadly, is William Hartnell's last return as the Doctor. But Patrick Troughton will be back, especially in a story that took me forever to find, because it was only released in the UK, not in America. This is story 65. Going into story 67, we have Doctor Who, Frontier in Space. And this came in a 2-pack with its next story, story number 68. And story number 68 is, can you guess it? If you guessed this, then you're right. If you guessed wrong, then that's okay. Hit like. Planet of the Daleks. Now, I got this two-part pack because of this one, because it had Daleks in it. I was like, why not get both, you know? And I'm happy I did. Now, another one, story number 72. Let me double check real quick. Was that 68? Yes, it was. So we have 3 stories in between that I do not have yet. And then 72 comes out, Death to the Daleks. Oh, yeah. I'd get more into, maybe I'll do more live streams later on this week or next weekend or so. And each one I'll do each Doctor individually. This next one is to my first favorite Doctor ever, Tom Baker. I have a lot of Tom Baker, but I do not own Planet of the Spiders, which is John Pertwee's final story. It ends with the regeneration into Tom Baker's 4th Doctor. But I do have Tom Baker's first story, number 75, and that is Robot. I am the Doctor. The definite, you might say. I can't remember what he says, and then I hate myself for that now. Story number 76, The Ark in Space. I do remember this story. I watched quite a bit of, I think up to Brandon Morbius, of Tom Baker stories in order, like from Robot all the way. Not that there's many, but story 77, The Santaran Experiment. One of the cheapest Doctor Who DVDs you could find in America. This cost me about $9, maybe 10. Everything else is 15 and up, but it was the cheapest one I found of the stories. This is story 77. Moving on to 78. One of the best Dalek stories ever. One of the most awesome scenes in Doctor Who Dalek history comes from story 78, which I thought it took place later on in Tom Baker's run, but it was right there at the smack dab beginning. Originally airing on March 8th through April 12th of 1975. Genesis of the Daleks. This is yet another is it 2-disc? It is 2-disc. It just does not tell you it's 2-disc. Usually it does, but this does not. Oh, yes, it does. It says it right there. It's just not a special edition. That makes me sad. All right. Moving on to another Cyberman story, story number 79. Revenge of the Cybermen. A great story. I need to finish it. I have not finished it yet. But this picked up right after the Genesis of the Daleks. Another great story. Story number 80, Terror of the Zygons. Looks like the Grinch a little bit, Jim Carrey's version. Jim Carrey could have played the Zygon. Moving on to another Doctor Who story. Story number 81, Planet of Evil. Next we have Pyramids of Mars. Story number 82. This was a great story. Really good. The Brain of Morbius. Story number 84. Really good. I just really love Tom Baker. I'm actually going to take a few of these and hold them in my hand. The Seeds of Doom, number 85. This is a 2-disc special edition. Well, not special edition. If it's got 2 discs, it's special to me. That is a joke, because they're all special to me. Story number 86. I'm going to butcher this name. I already know it. If I don't, then that's wonderful. The Mask of Mandragora. I think I got that right, actually. Wonderful story number 86. I love Sarah Jane Smith. She is one of my favorite companions. So is Jamie. Story number 87, The Hand of Fear. This was a very, very interesting story. Very interesting story. Story number 88, The Deadly Assassin. And can you guess who that is? Bet you can. Story number 90. This is a special edition, and it is only 1 disc. What makes it so special? I don't know. But it is The Robots of Death. Very interesting story. Story number 91. This one took me a while to find. I kept being told it was a great story by a guy I worked with. Great story, he said. He also told me that there's a part where they filmed in a street, and they asked a bunch of people to move their vehicles. Someone did not move their vehicle before they started filming. So what did they do with it to make it look like it took place in whatever year it is? Because I don't remember what year it is. They covered the car with a tarp and poured manure all over it. And that was when they were filming The Talons of Wing Ching. Hard to come by. And whenever I would find this, it would cost me, or it would be about 40 to 50 bucks. I finally got my hands on it for the low price of $20. I believe it was on Amazon. Finally. There's a crazy scene where they meet a giant rat, but I won't spoil anything for you. Now, this is a great story. This I know I've said that about a bunch of these, but this is one of the top 10 great stories of Tom Baker's run. Story number 92, Horror of Fang Rock. And we're not done with Tom Baker yet. We're moving on to The Sunmakers. Story number 95. That guy's voice is just odd. Now this is one of the most expensive Doctor Who sets I have ever bought. Right now I see it on sale on Amazon for close to 50 bucks. But it was double that when I bought it. For $100. You know what? I take that back. I bought this at Barnes & Noble bookstores when I was about maybe 3 or 4 years after I graduated high school. Actually, 2 or 3 years after I graduated. high school, and it was $100. But the guy used my discount, my Barnes and Noble discount, and then because we were actually friends, because I'd go there a lot looking for Doctor Who, and he loved Doctor Who as well, he cut off a little bit more. Don't tell the boss. But from $90 to about $60, I saved about $40. I got the Ribos Operation, the Pirate Planet, the Stones of Blood, the Androids of Tara, the Power of Kroll, and the Armageddon Factor, all in the Doctor Who Key of Time Special Edition. Now, I'll open this up real quick and show you inside. Stories 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, and 103. But each story is in here with their own DVDs. I won't show all of them, but yeah, you get the gist of it. But anyway, I was so happy to finally get my hands on it. I cannot tell you how many times I went into that store, saw it, wanted it, and had to leave empty-handed or with a different Doctor Who set. But we've had the Genesis of the Daleks, the Day of the Daleks. This, Destiny of the Daleks. Story number 104. Picks up right after the Key of Time. Cannot wait to see that transition because I have not got to watch them all at once yet, all together. Story 105, City of Death. And up here, co-written by Douglas Adams, who is the author of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Fun little fact there. Story 105. Story 106, The Creature from the Pit. And here's story 109, because I'm missing 107 and 108. My sister bought me this with some of the missing episodes done with animation, as you can see right there. But this story, 109, Shauna, the unfinished story, which they use a bit of this story in the story of the Five Doctors, which Tom Baker's not in it, which is very sad. 110, The Leisure Hive. Very, very weird and slippery. Very weird. Tom Baker gets turned into an old man, but you have to watch it to see why. This was something I was very happy to get. Took me a while. I was told it was good. Found it on Amazon. Bought it. The E-Space Trilogy, Full Circle, State of Decay, and Warrior's Gate. 3 stories in one. It's a 3-disc, but it's not special edition. The Keeper of Traken, story 115. This leads into Tom Baker's final outing as the Doctor. In story 116, Logopolis, or Logopolis, with the Master. Goodbye, Tom Baker. Now we move on to the 5th Doctor in his first story, Castro Vulva. Peter Davison years, 1985 to 1982 to 1984. This is story 117. Moving on to story 118, 4 to Doomsday. I have a few 5th Doctor stories, but I have not got to watch all of them yet. So I'm still kind of new to him. And I've got a new one coming in the mail this week. It should be here tomorrow. And that is Black Orchid, which I'm interested to see. Here is story number 119. Kinda. It's a weird name, but it's okay. Story number 122. I have seen this story once. And I finally received it in the mail about 2 weeks ago after many years of looking for it. And whenever I would find it, it was too expensive. So, like I said, finally found it and it was cheap and I bought it. Earthshock. I'm pretty sure many Doctor Who fans, many Doctor Who fans know what happens in this story, right? Story number 129. Interesting story here with the Master coming back. The King's Demons. Moving on to a 25th anniversary edition, 2-disc special 25th anniversary edition, The Five Doctors. Here we see Patrick Troughton, Peter Davison, John Pertwee together, but William Hartnell was unable to return for it because he had passed away, I believe, by this time. We're definitely sure. I believe he passed away in the 70s. But the name I can't remember. Okay, Richard Herndell plays the first Doctor. But William Hartnell, it shows, is in it, but he's not there with them at the same time. It's Richard Herndell. So we have the three Doctors, Richard Herndell, all together. Tom Baker is in it because they used a scene from Shada, but he gets caught and stuck and unable to be free until everything is set right at the end. I don't want to give too many spoilers away. But The Five Doctors is an excellent story. You should definitely check it out if you have not got it and you are a Who fan. Moving on to another. This is the one. Earlier I said I had gotten 3 DVDs in a pack. They were Underwater Adventures and Underground Adventures, and I say Underground Adventures because of the Silurians. But this was the 5th Doctor story that came with it. Warriors of the Deep. Story 131. Moving on to story 134. Resurrection of the Daleks. Which I have not watched yet. I'm looking forward to it. Story 136. The final time we see Peter Davison's Doctor for a while. His last run as the Doctor was right here before we came to Colin Baker's 6th Doctor, The Caves of Androzani. This ends with his regeneration. Oh, I love Perry. She's one of my favorite companions as well. We get into one of the first, maybe this is the first. I think this might be the first episode for Colin Baker. Story 138, Attack of the Cybermen. And what is up with that thing? I don't remember. I've watched this once, but I don't remember what that is. I guess it's time for a rewatch, right? Story 141. Patrick Troughton returns yet again in The Two Doctors. Took me forever to find this on DVD for America DVD players, or even my PlayStation 4. This one was always only in the UK, and if I had bought it from the UK and had it sent to me, it would not have worked on most DVD players in America. I didn't want to take that risk, so I was going to wait and wait and wait. Finally, in 2019, they released it on DVD, and I finally got it about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I'm so happy to finally have it in my collection. Story 141. Revelation of the Daleks. Story 143. Perry's still there. That might be the last time we see her, because in this, I don't remember seeing her. There's a lot going on in between that and what I'm about to show you. But this is This is Colin Baker's complete second season. Trial of the Time Lord. All for Trial of the Time Lord. We have The Mysterious Planet, episodes 1 through 4. Mind Warp, episodes 5 through 8. Terror of the Vervoids, episode 9 through 12. And The Ultimate Foe, episodes 13 through 14. It was a one-season extravaganza right here. And then after this, it pretty much was time to say goodbye to Colin Baker. For me, it was, because that's the last thing I've gotten of the Sixth Doctor so far. This is the only thing I have, only DVD, only story I have of Sylvester McCoy's Seventh Doctor. I'm not really that big of a fan of the Seventh Doctor. I will be getting more of his DVDs, but he's not one of my favorites. Remembrance of the Daleks. I couldn't pass it up. Daleks! Right there. I cannot do a Dalek impression. Terrible. Then we have the movie that America tried to make. At least I think it was America. It takes place in San Francisco, so I would assume it was. But we have Paul McGann's The Movie, special edition. 2 discs, isn't it? Guess you can understand why. One of the stupidest regenerations ever. Oh well. Time to move into New Who. And it's thanks to this man that Doctor Who did so well in the only one season he was in. Christopher Eccleston in Doctor Who's first season. Makes me sad to know that he just came in for that one episode. If you're a fan of Big Finish, then there's a possibility that he will be returning as the Doctor. And what I think would be kind of cool is to have him and Tom Baker in a story together before it's too late, unfortunately. I hate to say that. But to one of my other top 5 favorite Doctors, we have a few DVDs here. And I'm going to go ahead and just pick up a stack of them. Actually, the next 2 Doctors, or next 3 Doctors, are my favorite Doctors of the New Who genre. Now, I love Christopher Eccleston, but for some reason, I guess I like them better because I like them more is because they ran longer than Eccleston did. I will hope he could come back for more episodes later. Doctor Who Season 2, Part 1. Cybermen. Doctor Who Season 2, Part 2. And then we move over to a new companion, Martha, in Season 3. And one of my favorite seasons of Doctor Who, of David Tennant's run, are Seasons 4, Part 1, Part 1, and Part 2. Bunch of companions and friends coming back to help the Doctor out. And then David Tennant's standalones, with no companion in particular, the complete specials. It has The Next Doctor, Planet of the Dead, The Waters of Mars, The End of Time Part 1, The End of Time Part 2. But let me take a break for just a moment and say, That Planet of the Dead with David Tennant was the first ever Doctor Who story I watched. It was just one hour episode, and I got interested. Not just because the episode was really good, but also because of David Tennant. So Tennant was technically my first Doctor. I went onto the computer and I looked up Doctor Who, and I looked it up only because of David Tennant. I had seen him recently in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire when he played Barty Crouch Jr. When I looked up Doctor Who and found out that it had been around since 1963, I immediately was in awe. So I went back to the public library, which is where I got Planet of the Dead, a single DVD from the public library, and I found that they had season 1 with Christopher Eccleston. Picked it up, watched it, loved it. Then I watched David Tennant's first 2 seasons, 2 and 3, loved them. Watched 4, loved it. Was caught up with everything New Who. Went to visit my aunt out of town one day. Was on her cable channel, or was on went to the BBC. She had cable, we didn't, but she had cable, and I checked it out. And Matt Smith's first season was up. This is season 5, part 1, and the story that I watched, I believe, was The Beast Below. Maybe I'm incorrect about that. Actually, maybe it was the second season. And I was like, Matt Smith's okay, I guess. But then I started watching him more and more and more and more. Started buying his DVDs and fell in love with that Doctor character. We move on now to season 5, part 2. And I just realized it was in season 5 I first saw Matt Smith. And the first story I ever watched of his was The Hungry Earth, where the Silurians return. Moving on to season 5's Christmas story, A Christmas Carol, with Dumbledore. Moving on now to season 6, where we get to first meet, what are they called? Wish I had done my history before we got to. Oh, the Silence. That's what they are. But we have season 6, part 1, and season 6, part 2. And then we follow up with their Christmas story, or Christmas episode for that season, which was The Doctor, the Widow. Oh, it was The Widow and the Wardrobe. I thought I misread it in my camera. Then we move on to season 7, which starts out with a bang in Asylum of the Daleks. Season 7, part 1. Then we move on to the Christmas story that takes place in between the season halves, and that is The Snowman. Then we move on to the last half of season 7, and that is season 7, part 2. But we're not saying goodbye to Matt Smith just yet, and we are saying welcome back to David Tennant for the 50th anniversary, the Day of the Doctor, with the return of Tom Baker as the curator. I could be a curator. You know, I think you might. Oh, man, the tears in my eyes when that happened. The Time of the Doctor, Matt Smith's finale. Wonderful way to say goodbye to Matt Smith. Then we say hello to Peter Capaldi. And like Clara, everyone of the fans, except for some of us, were like, Peter Capaldi? Really? Season 8. Looks like he's trying to be Spider-Man. Then we move on to season 8's Christmas episode, Last Christmas, with Nick Frost as Santa Claus. Really? Excellent. I loved it. Then we move on to season 9, part 1. which was a very interesting season, to say the least. I believe The Magician's Apprentice. Wonderful story with Davros, the creator of the Daleks. If you haven't seen it yet, you should watch it. Then you have season 9, part 2, The Return to Gallifrey. Of all places he could have gone, Gallifrey is where he goes. I wasn't quite fond of that either. Then we have The Husbands of River Song. I'm not really a huge fan of River, and I know a bunch of people will probably be like, hey, why are you not a fan of her? I don't really care for her character. I feel like she was overused. And of Dr. Mysterio. Pretty interesting story here. Superhero. Yeah. Ain't no MCU, though. Sorry. Season 10, part 1. Where Doctor Who got to the point where I was just not having it anymore. I'm joking. I love Doctor Who, and this is a great season. Especially season 2, with 2 masters. And then we get to the last 2 DVDs of my Doctor Who collection. One is Peter Capaldi's Last Christmas Story, and one is an animated Doctor Who movie. We have Twice Upon a Christmas, where we see the first Doctor and the 12th Doctor unite. And this episode, whatever, takes place during the first Doctor's final story, where he regenerates into the second Doctor. I guess you could say this takes place on the 10th planet. From what I've heard. I haven't watched it yet. And then here, a feature-length animated movie starring David Tennant and Freema Agyeman, said her name wrong, but his third companion, Martha, or second companion, Martha, The Infinite Quest. And there you have it. That is my entire Doctor Who collection, from William Hartnell all the way to Peter Capaldi, and every Doctor in between. Will I be collecting any of Jodie Whittaker's? Possibly. I've been spending a bunch of money trying to finish my collection as I have right now. I'm trying to finish my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh Doctors collections before moving on to anything else new Who, because I want to finish the collection before anything else. So, what is your favorite Doctor Who story? Who is your? Excuse me, I am just not having it today. What is your favorite Doctor Who story? Who is your favorite Doctor? Who was your first favorite Doctor, and is he or she your favorite? Leave a comment below. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. They won't be as long because I'm looking at this and it's almost 54 minutes. Wow. Did not expect to be begin with that long. I did not expect that it would take that long to go through all these DVDs, and it's already been an hour almost. Wow. Crazy. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like it, please hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well so that you can know whenever I go live or whenever I post new videos. I post videos often enough. Coming up soon, I've got a Resident Evil 7 playthrough popping up onto my channel, followed by a demo for Resident Evil Village. I also have upcoming gameplay for old and new games alike. Maybe a Horizon Zero Dawn gameplay playthrough is coming up next because I just got it for free on PlayStation Store. Go check that out as well. It's the complete edition. You get all the DLC and everything for free. Also, more Doctor Who videos coming later on, and yeah, just keep up with it. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves out there. It's a crazy world we live in. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.